Very relaxed, Meryl Davis and Charlie White, getting set to head out onto the ice. Last season, they did something no U.S. ice dancers had ever done. They won a world championship, topping an all-North American podium. They achieved what was long thought impossible. The Soviets and the Russians had long dominated, but now the North Americans have taken over.
A lot of people are talking about the power shift from Russia to North America.
A first gold medal in ice dancing for the U.S.
It's a power shift from Russia to skating being rewarded for good skating.
If you don't do your job, you're not going to get rewarded, and you don't deserve to be. We want it to be a real sport like that.
Meryl Davis and Charlie White make history.
From the beginning of the sport of ice dance, the Russians have always been on the top of the podium.
Saluting the continuing dominance of the Russians.
The top Russians retired, they became the coaches, and the next Russians moved into their place. There was always somebody coming up through the pipeline.
The world champion from the Soviet Union.
The system was not accidental by any means. They had a structure that set up a legacy.
A historic ice dancing Russian sweep.
We saw decades of dominance.
In the olden days, the American teams weren't always what the judges were looking for.
This new judging system is what got us out of that funk.
When I started teaching in the United States 21 years ago, to sweep the podium with North American teams was unthinkable. If I would say that it's ever going to happen, everybody would just laugh in my face.
To be able to represent all those who had come before us and stand on top of that podium, we wouldn't have been there without the pioneers of U.S. ice dance paving the way.
It's a long process, but definitely right now you can say that North America ruling the world.
After their historic win, Davis and White got back to work. At the Michigan rink, they share with the same two teams who stood beside them on the world podium.
We came home and our coaches said, you're skating a little bit differently, you're skating more confident, you're skating like world champions.
We're not resting on our laurels. We're looking to attack the season, and I mean, that just starts at the rink. Every day we train as hard as you can.
I think that training with our biggest rivals every day is nothing but helpful for us. It's hard to not be inspired by that.
Just because you're a world champion doesn't mean that you're the king of the universe.
Nice.
You know, there's another year and another chance to prove it.
For Meryl and Charlie, there is always Olympics. This is a bigger thing on the back of the mind. Olympic gold.
And Tracy, as Davis and White take the ice, perhaps the two people most responsible for the North American surge are from Russia, Igor Spielban and Marina Zoueva.
And with the end of the Soviet Union came the end of the borders in ice dance. So great Russian coaches came abroad to teach. Dancers traveled across the world to get great coaching. And, you know, that blend of cultures has brought out the very best for ice dance.
Marina immigrated to Canada, and Igor basically defected back in 1990 to the U.S. while he was on tour here. All right, Davis and White last year with that win at the World Championships continued the run of an undefeated season last year. National champs and world champs, eventually the Four Continents Championship at the end of the year as well. They swept the Grand Prix.
spent a lot of time with Elena Brinian-Kov from Dancing with the Stars, and before they even started choreographing on the ice, they got the feel of the dance on the floor, then brought it to the ice.
Beginning like the end last season for the world champs?
Can these two compete? A whole lot of flair and flash this early in the season.
Meryl Davis, Charlie White, for the first time ever, you can say, from the U.S., the reigning world champs.
Meryl Davis and Charlie White.